Hey, thanks for turning in. This is from us here at Riseson. Now, if you're a small or mid-sized business owner here in Arizona, you already know this state has its own unique challenges, right? So we're going to walk you through what's called a business owner's policy, or BOP for short. We'll use some real-world local scenarios to show you exactly how this essential coverage protects businesses just like yours.
So, let me ask you a question. What's the biggest threat to your business? It's a tough one, I know. Because running a business right here in Arizona, well, it means you're facing some pretty unique risks, stuff that goes way beyond the usual day-to-day challenges. I mean, just think about it for a second. A monsoon that literally shatters your storefront. A fire that forces you to close your doors for weeks. A simple slip and fall that suddenly turns into a massive, costly lawsuit. Or, your most critical piece of equipment failing in that brutal summer heat. These are the very specific, very local threats that a business owner's policy is built to handle.
All right, so let's jump right into the first core part of a BOP. We like to call it the shield, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's all about protecting your physical assets. The tangible stuff that actually makes your business, well, run.
Okay, so what is the shield? It's your commercial property coverage. This protects your building, if you own it, of course, and pretty much everything inside. We're talking computers, inventory, furniture, all of it. It's your main line of defense against things like fire, theft, or a big storm. To put it simply, it covers the stuff you absolutely need to operate.
All right, let's make this super real. Picture this. You've got a great little shop in Phoenix, and one of our, powerful summer monsoons decides it's going to pay you a visit.
So the wind starts howling, and bam, flying debris just shatters your entire glass storefront. In an instant, your front is destroyed and the rain is just pouring in, ruining a huge chunk of your inventory. Now this is where that property coverage becomes absolutely crucial. Your BOP, it steps in to help pay for the new windows, the building repairs, and the cost of all that lost inventory. It's really all about getting you back on your feet. And fast.
Okay, so repairing the physical damage is one thing. That's huge. But what about all the money you're losing while you're closed for repairs? That's a whole other problem, right? And that brings us to what we call your financial lifeline. This part is called business income coverage, and it's so important. If a covered loss, like that monsoon or maybe a fire, forces you to shut down for a while, this coverage helps replace that lost income. But here's the key. It's not just about lost profits. It's about having the money to cover your ongoing expenses. We're talking rent, utilities, and, so important, your team's payroll. It's literally what keeps your business alive, even when your doors have to be closed. So let's look at another scenario just to drive this home. Imagine you own a really popular cafe over in Scottsdale. Business is booming, everything's going great, and then an electrical fire breaks out in the kitchen overnight, just out of nowhere.
The damage is pretty bad. You're forced to close down completely for 3 solid weeks to get everything repaired. Now, during that time, you've got zero, and I mean zero, income coming in. But guess what? The landlord still wants the rent, the utility bills don't stop, and you absolutely have to pay your staff. This is exactly where your business income coverage becomes the hero. It provides the money to cover those fixed costs, making sure you can actually reopen without being buried in debt.
Okay, so we've protected your stuff and we've protected your income. We're on a roll. But what about the risks that come from other people? The public, your customers. This is where your guardian comes into play. We're talking about general liability coverage.
So, general liability. Think of it as your shield against claims from other people or third parties. This is for those nightmare scenarios, like when a customer gets hurt in your store, or maybe you accidentally damage a client's property. It can even cover things like advertising injury. At the end of the day, it's all about protecting you from the massive financial hit of an accident or a lawsuit. Let's use a classic example, and believe me, it's unfortunately a really common one. Imagine you run a retail shop over in Tempe. One of your employees just mopped the floor, but oh no, they forgot to put out the wet floor sign. A customer walks in, doesn't see the water, and down they go. They slip and break their wrist. And before you know it, you're being served with a lawsuit for all their medical bills, plus the wages they lost because they couldn't work. I mean, that's a terrifying situation for any business owner, right? But with a BOP, this is where your general liability coverage really steps up. It helps pay for your legal defense, which is expensive on its own, and any settlement or judgment, all the way up to your policy limit. It's a true guardian for your business's finances, no question.
So, a standard BOP is an absolutely fantastic foundation. It covers those big 3: property, income, and liability. But let's be real. Every single business here in Arizona is unique. You're not the same as the guy down the street, and that's exactly why it's so important to tailor your armor for a perfect custom fit.
So how do you do that? Well, you can enhance a standard BOP with these little add-ons called endorsements. Think of them as custom upgrades. They cover specific risks like equipment breakdown, which, is incredibly important with our summer heat, or something like cyber liability, which is just critical in today's world. You can also add coverage for things like employee theft or for extra expenses to help you get back up and running even faster.
Okay, let's put this into practice. Let's say you run a small manufacturing business over in Mesa, and your whole operation relies on this one super specific, specialized air compressor.
And one day, it just fails. Your entire operation grinds to a dead stop. The repair is going to be expensive, and even worse, you need to rent a temporary unit right away to keep fulfilling your orders. Now this is where those endorsements really shine. Your equipment breakdown coverage, that helps pay for the repair. And that extra expense endorsement we talked about, that helps cover the cost of the rental. See how that provides a complete solution? It's awesome.
So there you have it. We've covered the shield for your property, the lifeline for your income, the guardian for liability, and the custom fit you get with endorsements. At Riseson Insurance, our job as your local Arizona partner is pretty simple. It's to bring all these pieces together for you in a way that just makes sense.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's this. A business owner's policy is just a really efficient, cost-effective way to bundle those three core protections that every small business needs. But, and this is a big but, your business is always changing, and the risks we face here in Arizona are always changing. That's why it is absolutely vital to review your policy every single year to make sure it still fits what you're doing.
Look, we really believe insurance should feel personal. It shouldn't feel transactional. One of our clients, Sydney Gowan, put it perfectly. She said his professionalism and genuine care made the entire process smooth and stress-free. And honestly, that's exactly the level of care we aim to bring to every single business we protect.
So, ask yourself this. Is your business really, truly protected from the unique risks we face right here in Arizona? Are you 100% confident you've got the right shield, the right lifeline, and the right guardian in place? If there's even a little bit of doubt in your mind, let's talk.
Go ahead and give us a call at Riseson Insurance. We can schedule a totally free review of your business insurance. Look, we're a local agency. We live here, we work here, we're part of this community just like you. Let's work together to make sure all your hard work is protected, not just for today, but for the future. We really look forward to speaking with you.